Hi, welcome to Surviving Motherhood. So, do you pray? Do you believe that God has the power to do amazing things? Do you sometimes wonder why He doesn't? I do. I have this prayer guide. It was sent to me by Compassion International. It's a monthly thing, and there's a different prayer request for each day that I can pray for. And well, today the entry says, pray for God to comfort the family of Kevin in Togo, who recently passed away after heart surgery. My initial reaction to that prayer request was, of course I'll pray for them, and I prayed that God would comfort them. But then I began to think, probably in their situation, probably there's more disappointment, more sadness than just in Kevin dying. I'm just guessing, but I'm guessing that there was probably a community of people around Kevin's family, and when he started having trouble, whatever it was, chest pains or whatever it was that led them to believe there was some trouble, I imagine this group of people, this community, was surrounding them and praying for him and praying that he would find an answer. And then somehow he got hooked up with a doctor and found out he needed heart surgery. So I imagine that group of people was again praying for him, praying for the doctor, praying that the surgery would be successful, praying that it would be a complete healing, believing, knowing that God could do that. And yet, Kevin died. And now I wonder what that community of people is doing. I wonder how they're feeling. I wonder if they're disappointed. God, why didn't you answer our prayers the way we wanted? And stuff like that makes me wonder, is God big enough to comfort them? Can He possibly comfort their sadness and their disappointment? And yeah, that's a ridiculous question. Of course He can, because God can do anything. But that means He also could have saved Kevin's life, and He didn't. And so we can be led to sadness and disappointment. And that whole thing reminded me of another person of whom I'm aware. It's an adorable little boy. His name is Weston, and he's been fighting cancer, I think, for almost all of his 3 short years. And I've been following his story on Facebook, and I've been praying for him. And there have been times when things are going better. And, well, right now, his family has come to terms with the fact that he's probably got just a few days left. His family has been surrounded by a community of people praying and believing. His family believes in God, believes that He can do great things. And yet, for some reason, right now He isn't. And so we can find a place of questioning God. Why aren't you doing what I think you should do? Why aren't you doing what's best? I mean, obviously, this would be the best thing, wouldn't it? And yet, God is sovereign, and He knows what He's doing. And I don't know if you might be in a situation like that right now today, where you have been praying and you've been believing and you're trusting and you're knowing that God can do these really good things. But you're waiting, and He isn't moving. Well, it doesn't look like He's moving to you. If you're in that kind of a place today, would you allow me to encourage you? Would you allow me to remind you that God is good, that He is all-knowing, that He sees you and He hears you and He loves you, and He's going to take care of you. He's going to take perfect care of your situation. Maybe it isn't going to look like what you think it should look like. Maybe it isn't going to happen when you want it to happen. But I can promise you that the Lord of the universe, He's doing a perfect thing. So I'm going to keep praying for Weston and his family, believing that God will work out their circumstance, believing that He will bring it to a good end in a good time. I'm going to keep praying for Weston. I'm going to keep praying for Kevin and his family, that God would comfort them. I'm going to keep praying for Melissa and her family, trusting that God is going to work out that situation. I'm going to keep praying for Judy and Pat and Kim and ask God to bring them healing. I'm going to keep praying for Ashley and ask God to give her direction, to lead her where He wants her to go in her life. I'm going to keep praying for Patricia and Shara and ask God to bring healing to the relationship struggles that they're facing right now. I'm going to keep praying those things for those people, even though I don't know when it's going to happen. Even though God might not answer my prayers the way I think He should, I'm going to trust Him because I believe that He is God and that He is good all the time. Now you have a wonderful, Jesus-full day, even if it's hard to understand.